Luke, I know one thing that Kip wanted to talk to you about, and Kip, I hate to jump on you here, but about Luke's article earlier in the season. You had written a piece that was fairly critical. At the time was, 8 games, 10 games into the season, whatever it was. Everything you talked about there kind of feels like it was pretty bang on at this point. How do you look back at that piece you wrote and feel that it is aged some, 6, 7 months later?
Yeah, well, I'm getting similar vibes during this down stretch that I did in October. I would say that after they lost to the Kings, and the next game was against the Ducks, and they'd already lost 3 in a row, and at that point, Anaheim was dead last in the league. Morgan Riley said, well, the next game is going to be a real character test. You're going to find out what we're made of in that game. And then they played a poor game. And the similar tone was struck after game 2, and they dropped the first 2 of this series to Panthers. Alexander Kerfoot called it a must-win. Everyone's like, okay, this is do or die. We got to get back in this series, and then they laid an egg in game 3. So that to me relates back to what I was talking about back then. To be fair, like after I wrote that, Kyle Dubas made, I believe it was 8 different trades, and Obey Kubel's gone, and here comes Noel Achari and Ryan O'Reilly. And I do like the pieces that they brought in. I think he did some nice work. I think the depth has improved. But a lot of this, and I think I touched on it in that article, I don't know, it's months ago, but a lot of it is this great grand experiment, this idea that you can invest such a great percentage of your cap into 4 guys and put all that pressure on them to perform. And if someone finds a way to solve them, or if there's an injury like there was to Tavares in the Montreal series, it all crumbles. And I just think hockey is such a team sport, and you need everyone. And you look over down the hall, and Florida's rolling 4 lines, and they haven't changed their deep pairs, and everyone's just going, and they're finding ways. It just brings me back to maybe that doesn't work in hockey. Maybe you can't load it so heavily to all the pressure and all the money and all the responsibility to just a few guys.
Listen, we know physically Joseph Woll has never been in this position before. This is new. There's a million reasons why he should get shelled tonight. But, and this is the but, he seems to have a demeanor that doesn't get excited or doesn't really fall into that I know what's at stake feeling. Correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but this is a guy that does not do any social media, doesn't pay attention to anything, did not find out that the Leafs traded for Ryan O'Reilly until he got into the dressing room and actually looked at the lineup to the wall.
Come on. That happened?
100% true. 100% true. And he's a 24-year-old kid. What 24-year-old do you know that doesn't use social media? I applaud this guy because – some people say they stay off it, but you see the guys on their phones after the games, or as they're walking to the bus. But this kid actually lives it, and this is something he did recently when he was coming back from his injury in training camp. I don't know if he got some advice or he just felt it in him that it wasn't making him happy, and he said the way my mind works, social media wasn't doing me any favors. And I said, well, how do you stay in touch with people? And he's like, I got out a piece of paper and I made a list of the people that are important to me that I want to stay in contact with. So I reach out to them directly, whatever, text or phone calls. And those are the people I talk to. And I really want to limit all the outside noise. This guy has taken up meditation in a very serious way. All he does is talk about living in the moment. He was asked yesterday, what was the last really big stage game that you played in that you had to perform? And he couldn't think of it. And it's kind of stumped him, which shows what a big game this is, but it also shows where his head's at. He's like, really, there'll be time to rehash my journey here later. He's like, all I'm thinking about is stopping that puck right now. So I really like his demeanor. I think the Leafs have been patient in grooming a good one in him. And his cap hit makes it so that, if he performs, he's going to be here a long time. And he's going to be an important player for them.
Wait, he pulled out a piece of paper to make a list? Not his notes app on his phone? Who has paper?
Well, listen, Luke.
Yeah, he's a different kid. He's a different
Yeah,
kid.
he is. And maybe that's exactly what the Leafs need tonight. Different.